a gallery of good looks for your home.
Good evening and welcome to the 20-yard line, a preview of the 1995 high school football season in Central Illinois, and we'll take a look at the Fighting Illini.
Hey, let's get right to it. I know all the coaches and players and parents are watching. Kickoff is about 24 hours away before the season begins. Hey, let's get right to it. The Central State 8 is where we start. 3 teams made the playoffs last year.
And our first stop is at Sacred Heart Griffin. Sacred Heart Griffin was 1 win away from a trip to the state championship game a year ago. That was then. This is now.
There we go. Hey, switch it around.
The past, the past. I mean, we're looking forward to the future. And what we want to do is go all the way this year. I mean, we didn't get it last year, but this year we'll try to.
Replacing Scott Norris, All-American Mike McGee, and All-Stater Mike Pilger won't be easy, but the Cyclones hardly ever have a rebuilding year.
It's their chapter now of Griffin football, Sacred Heart Griffin Cyclone tradition, and they've just got to be themselves. And like we haven't talked at all about last year, but they got a lot of experience. We got quite a few kids back on defense, but not much on offense.
Matt Mitrione is one of Sacred Heart Griffin's leaders. The two-way standout doesn't have any doubt SHG will again be one of the area's best football teams.
I think it's going to be a great year. I think all the seniors and all the upperclassmen, we're all getting together. We're starting to come as a team. I think it's a new thought process. You know how it goes.
You're going to try and block the safety up. All right, next option. On 1. Ready?
Lanphier's coming off back-to-back playoff appearances, and the Lions earned a share of the Central State 8 title a year ago. One of the keys for the Lions this year is replacing Corey Erickson at quarterback.
We graduate a lot of different people, so quarterback obviously is a key area for us, but we've got a number of holes to fill from graduation, and we've got some good kids, a lot of enthusiasm, and hopefully they'll get the job done. Having 2 real good seasons like we've had the last 2 years, the best 2 we've had back-to-back in the school's history, certainly helps the confidence, and our kids come out now and they're expecting to win and working hard for it, and it definitely puts us on an up note coming in, and obviously got to get it done in the field, though.
Go! Lanphier won't be big this season, but the Lions are still confident their line will come through for them.
We did lose a lot of big people, and we got a nice running game. We got some receivers that can catch the ball, and if our line does good, then we go as our line goes, basically.
Lanphier has a total of 8 starters returning.
I think we're going to be pretty good. Everybody said, we might be little and all, but I think we're kind of big and kind of quick, all around. Should be a good season.
Block back 1. Let's go.
Springfield High has a new head coach. Bill Anderson left Illinois College to take over the Senators program.
I'm enjoying it. It's fun working with the kids, getting to put in a whole new offense, whole new defense, kicking game, things like that. They've really responded. They've been here working their tails off, and we've had to spend some extra time because of putting everything in new.
How's the adjustment been so far?
Well, it's been a little tough early, but now I think I'm getting into it a little bit better, I'm working on it a little bit better.
Mark Nunn will run the offense. One of his favorite targets will be another senior, Tommy Hayes.
If we work hard, we should be able to be 500 this year, hopefully. It depends on the decisions the quarterback makes, but it's all really on him.
Well, Mark Nunn, our quarterback, obviously, everybody knows him. He has a real strong arm. He's a real good field general. He's a great kid. He'd be the #1 guy that I would talk to about. Tommy Hayes, a wide receiver, has done just a super job. He's a good leader. He's busted his tail.
Some people aren't giving the Senators a whole lot of respect entering this season. That's okay with the players.
Well, I read somewhere where we were ranked last or whatever in the conference, and I think that's kind of good because there's nowhere to go but up.
Southeast has won 9 games the last 2 seasons. The Spartans' biggest concern this time around is their offensive line.
We've got 1 starter back. We're going to start 4 people Friday night with no experience on the offensive line, so we're going to have to grow up in a hurry there.
But Southeast does have 2 of the area's best skill players.
Well, I think we've got 2 of the premier players in the area in Lincoln James, standout defensive end and wide receiver. Obviously, everybody knows he's a great basketball player, but I'll tell you, he's a tremendous football player at defensive end, and I feel we've got one of the best defensive backs I've ever seen in Craig Rolfe. I really believe he's a Division I possibility.
Lost a lot of people from last year, and there's a lot of upcoming people that didn't play that much, and they got to really step it up.
And your goal is to playoffs. It would be a nice way to go out, I guess.
Yeah, last year
Not saying that I didn't want to do it before, but try a little harder this year.
Finishing in the upper half of the conference will be tough for Southeast, but in the Central State 8 Conference, anything can happen.
My favorite line from a coach no longer in a conference was, it'll be Sacred Heart Griffin and the Seven Dwarfs when this conference was formed, and it sure hasn't turned out that way. Lanphier, Taylorville, Sacred Heart, obviously 1, 2, 3 this year. Shake them up in a bag and pull out a winner, but 4, 5, 6 could definitely vie for a playoff spot as well.
And that's a look at the city teams in the Central State 8 Conference.
We're going to take a look at the other 4 teams in just a bit. Jacksonville, Taylorville, Lincoln, and Glenwood, plus a look at our new Central State 8 coaches poll. Stay with us here on the 20-yard line.
Welcome back to the 20-yard line. Our show continues with the rest of the Central State 8 Conference.
Okay, Lincoln, new head coach. That's their story. Glenwood and Jacksonville, improved teams. And, of course, Taylorville getting ready to make another run at the playoffs.
We're looking forward to playing Griffin. I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a good game. It's just going to be 2 good teams to us and the best in the conference going at it.
That was last year. Taylorville beat Sacred Heart Griffin, the #1 team in the state. The Tornadoes went on to the playoffs and shared the conference title.
After last year, we're just, the whole community and the kids are just excited. We want to get going.
Now, Coach will be the first one to tell you that last year doesn't mean anything for this year, but he does have some good skill players returning, including quarterback Jeb Odom and wide receiver Chad Milam.
Everything they do out here is so much more fluid and so much more crisp, and then now they're in their leadership role, whereas last year we had other kids in leadership role. It just their play is up so much higher than it was last year.
A lot of people are talking about Odom this year. They say he could be one of the top quarterbacks in the area, but he doesn't want to hear anything about individual honors.
Team comes first, and my supporting cast is real well. We got very good receivers, a backfield that's really not very fast, but run very hard. In our line, we got a bigger line this year than last year.
The Tornadoes were 8-2 in 1994. 1995 begins Friday. There's a new sheriff in town at Lincoln High School. Dennis Renner takes over a Railers team that was 0-9 last season. But Renner is supremely confident and dead serious.
Well, the goals for this season is to establish a winning record. That's the first goal. Second goal is for the team to qualify for the playoffs. And third goal, of course, is win state championship.
Renner says he and his staff are moving in the right direction, but success isn't up to them.
It's selling it to the kids, and the kids now believe. And that's a big part, is we got to get them believing. And they do.
Coach helps everybody out individually, and he takes his time. If there's something wrong, kids have problems, he stops and takes his time, and help the kid out.
The team seems to like the new coach quite a bit. In fact, they're so sky high right now, they're ready to go out and win homecoming, something they haven't done in about 7 years.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Homecoming, we haven't won in forever.
What would that be like to win?
It'd feel good. It'd feel great. It'd probably turn our whole program around.
By the way, homecoming is October 6th versus Sacred Heart Griffin. Can you get it done here?
Oh, yeah, we can get it done. It's just a matter of time. Like I said, it's just a matter of getting them to believe. And once they start believing, they'll achieve.
Go right, 90 slant, on one. Right.
Hustle down. As you go around the Central State 8 in the preseason, a lot of the coaches and media members seem to be talking about Chatham Glenwood.
Word is Glenwood could be the most improved team in the Central State 8, and they could be the team to watch out for.
Well, we got the easy part done there, the talking, and we'll have to go out, and I don't know why.
It could be the Redskins' decent finish from last year. They won their last 2 games, including a good win over Springfield.
I felt like we're still trying to build a program, and we still are now. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, we're not what I would consider to be a seasoned team or a program that has tradition. We're trying to build that.
Coach Rourke has a solid base to build upon. Quarterback Ryan Ogden could be a solid college player someday.
Hard-nosed kid. He's a good runner, and he can throw the ball well, and we're looking for Ryan to have a big year for us and feel like he needs to. He's our quarterback, and he needs to lead our team.
So where does Glenwood stand overall in the Central State 8? Obviously, the season will show us that, but for right now, they're trying to fight their way up to the top few spots.
Griffin's going to have something in Lanphier, but, I mean, yeah, we think we've got a chance to go playoffs.
That's the goal, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Not even terrible practice weather can dampen the spirits at Jacksonville these days. The Crimson should be a very improved team.
Everybody's feeling great about it. Everybody's feeling ready for everything, anything that anybody can dish out.
We're all getting really excited about playing Metamora our first game and getting into our conference schedule, and we're gonna win some this year.
One reason for all the optimism is this year's junior class. Last year, as sophomores, they went 6-3.
We feel we're ahead of where we've been in the past at this time. I think athletically we've got some better kids out for football, and we expect to be better than we were last year.
Of course, that's not going to be easy in the Central State 8, but they do have some good big people up front, and they're not afraid to make a challenge.
I'll tell you what, I'll say this to my friend over at Springfield High. Strap it up, Coach A.
Woo, gotta like that.
You better say the same thing back to me. We're best friends.
Obviously, I've known for a long time since I accepted this job that the second game of the year is against Jacksonville. That's where I live. I coach Mark Stewart. He worked for me. We have a very good rivalry. We also have a very good friendship. So as long as I beat him by 1, that's fine.
All right, if you want to see that Jacksonville-Springfield game, it'll be September 1st. Also on September 1st, the showdown between Lanphier and Sacred Heart Griffin.
And Taylorville meets Sacred Heart Griffin on October 13th. That should be a great game as well. We took a poll of the coaches to find out who's the favorite to win the conference this season. Sacred Heart Griffin's the favorite to win the conference this season. The Cyclones received 6 first-place votes.
Then things really get bunched up in the Central State 8. Second place is Lanphier. They got a first-place vote, and they just eked out over Taylorville for that second spot. Taylorville also got 1 first-place vote.
Glenwood and Springfield tied for 4th place in the poll.
Tied for 6th, Southeast and Jacksonville.
And Lincoln finished 8th. Scott, I think the conference race is just too close to call, but I think it's going to be a great year in the Central State 8.
This is going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to see things pan out over the season. All right, time for us to take a break now. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Prairie State Conference. Stay with us on the 20-yard line. All right, now we also got to mention another team that's just getting off the ground this season.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wake up in the back! Wake up!
The sights and sounds of high school football, they've never been heard before at Rochester. They are forming their first team ever.
I have no other comment, just that it rules. There's a definite sense of history here. I mean, I couldn't sleep last night. I was ready. I was pumped, and we're out here. We're working hard, and we're going to lay to rest a few things that people think.
This year, Rochester will field JV and freshman teams.
This is great. We're starting history. We're making history every day, every minute, every practice, every play. I mean, the attitude's been great.
The players and the coaches are very fired up for this season, but it wasn't easy to bring football to Rochester. Members of the community had to go out and raise money to privately fund the team for 5 years.
I think it's going to blossom into something big. I mean, here in Rochester, we've got a lot of people moving in, and we're growing real quick, so I think things are going to snowball from this point.
The 1995 football season is getting started, and the Rockets are ready for liftoff.